Great. So we have been able to do the withholding tax upload. That's we've been able to do the individual, and then we have done the bulk upload as well. But we explained earlier that there's a section of withholding tax that is a gross up. This is a situation that you might have made a payment, or you ought to make a payment, but per the terms of your contract or by your practice, you did not withhold the tax. And then per the arrangement, you have to gross it up so that you can file the return with the appropriate withholding tax. So this is what we are going to practically do. So we go back to our VAT service, we come to withholding tax service, and we have what we over here, that is purchase withholding purchase invoice gross up, withholding purchase invoice gross up. So we click that, and you are going to have it. So please, as we said, always when you start a new one, we are going to do a gross up. This is different from the regular normal one. So we have to still go back and delete all the previous data. This means that the previous month gross up you did were sitting in the system. And if you did not delete it, this one will add up to it and it will give you wrong numbers. So we have it over here. So we'll first have to go and then click. You first have to, we will do the two phase of it. That's, we do the individual one or the single entry, then we'll do the bulk upload as well. So we will start over here, but before that, permit me to explain to you the gross up. That's a withholding tax gross up. The withholding, when you're doing gross up, we don't do gross up on just the face value of the amount that you're going to pay. The reason is this: when you are doing a gross up, it gives indications that you are bearing the withholding tax implication of the transaction that you incurred or the transaction that you entered into. So the withholding element tends to increase your cost in one way or the other, unless your arrangement gives you opportunity to go for a refund. Other than that, it increases your cost. Now, since it's increasing your cost, and withholding tax, mind you, it is part of corporate income tax payment for the vendor. So if it increases your cost and you do the withholding tax payment on behalf of the vendor, it means that the vendor has received another payment in form of withholding tax. In that case, if you pay 10,000 Ghana cedis to the vendor and you have paid additional withholding tax of 750 cedis, the implication is that the vendor has received a benefit of 10,750 and not 10,000. So when you are doing gross up, it rather adds up to the cost that you have already incurred. Now, we said that we don't do gross up just on the face value of the transaction, 10,000, then you slap withholding tax. If it is service, 7.5% on the 10,000. No, this is not how we do. You have to do two consideration. So let me start it this way. You have to do two consideration. One, the 10,000 that you paid, that you did not withhold tax, or that you are not required to withhold tax, does it include a VAT element or VAT or levy element in it? If it includes VAT element, the treatment is different in doing gross up. And then if it does not, the treatment is also different. If it does not include VAT element or the levy, it means that the 10,000 is flat, and therefore I can just gross the 10,000 up by dividing it by the net base of the 10,000, and I'll get my gross amount and apply my withholding tax. So if it has a VAT element, then we have to understand that withholding tax does not affect VAT. So if the amount that you paid contains VAT element, then you need to strip that 10,000 off the VAT element. So let me just hypothetically say, assuming it is 10,000 and VAT is 1,000, then the nominal amount that you are paying to the vendor without the VAT is actually 9,000. So that 10,000, you have to strip it off based on whether the VAT is a flat rate, or it is a standard rate. Even if it is a standard rate, we also need to understand whether that standard rate Is it coming from a communication service industry? If it's coming from communication service industry, then there is going to be a communication service tax on it. And if it's coming from the tourism industry, then the tourism levy will also affect it. The communication service tax, the tourism levy, or the VAT, withholding tax does not affect them. So you have to strip all this. And then this is what TaxMate we have done. This is what we have done at TaxMate. So we have been able to come up with appropriate formulas that you only need to select whether it has a VAT element or it does not have a tax element. Then the appropriate formula will be able to tease out the exclusive VAT or the exclusive tax amount, then do the before it does a gross up. Other than that, technically, if you do just gross up on the 10,000 without considering whether there was a VAT or element in it or not, it's likely to be a wrong assumption, or to give you the wrong numbers. So we are going to do the individual. So we are going to do we bought from our bag enterprise, and the 10 we bought a service, and then we also, the location is Kumasi. All right. So amount that we paid, this amount that we paid, we say that the amount that we paid, we did not withhold VAT, we did not withhold the tax. So this amount we paid 10,000. Okay. So the next thing we need to determine is that this amount that we have paid, which is 10,000. Oh, please, we didn't consider this one. The residency is very, very important, because the residency determines whether there's going to be withholding tax. They're going to determine the withholding rate as well. So let's say this one is a resident entity, and that's how come you had the with VAT applicable. All right. So we also need to decide whether that 10,000 that we are going to, the withholding tax type, please, is it goods? Is it service? We selected service. We enter service up there. So let's enter our service. Once we enter our service, it gives you the appropriate withholding tax rate. But there's one thing that we're talking about. We need to select the VAT status. Whether the amount that you paid, it was VAT inclusive, not VAT inclusive. If it was VAT inclusive, was it just a standard rate, or it had communication service tax in it, or it has the tourism levy in it? You need to select it, because you did the payment and you know the amount to pay, whether it has VAT or not. Okay, so let's say the amount that we paid, it was VAT inclusive. Okay, it was VAT inclusive. Our system, we have been able to tease out the arithmetic to come out with a model that will be able to determine the net, that's the VAT exclusive amount, because the gross up is supposed to be on the VAT exclusive. That's the gross amount, the VAT exclusive amount, not the VAT inclusive amount. All right. So having teased out the VAT exclusive amount this way, then it can comfortably apply the rate to determine the withholding tax rate. But please, let me also explain. When you're doing gross up, we don't apply the rate just at nominal or flat on the VAT exclusive amount, because you're doing a gross up. You need to do some calculations before you do it. If this is 7.5%, so when you're doing gross up and the rate is 7.5%, the gross up, you need to gross it up at the 7.5% before you apply the rate, so that you will come back to the 7.5%. All right. So this is what we have done. So I'll do save. Let me try another one. We save it and then we'll try another one. Okay. So I bought it from Kofim PNE, and then there's a 10. Please, these ones are very important. So supplier's location is Accra, and the residency, we say that's still resident, and since we say it is resident, the amount applicable, the amount that we are paying, please, the amount we are paying, very important, the amount we are paying. We say we are paying 10,000 again. All right. And we say that it was service. Okay. This is service, and the status, we are saying that it is flat rate inclusive. Okay, service cannot be flat rate inclusive, flat rate. So let's do the right selection. It is standard rate, but it is inclusive of communication service tax. So once we select communication service tax, it teases out the net VAT exclusive amount so that it does a gross up over there. If it does a gross up over there, it means that we are not applying withholding tax on the communication service and the VAT element. We chose 10,000 in the first one, and the amount was around 8,000. When we chose 10,000 in this particular one, because it had communication service tax element in it, the VAT exclusive amount is 7,800. It means that if you take out the VAT and then communication service tax, you'll be left with the 7,833. Then you do the gross up based on that particular one. So it essentially does the gross up nicely for you, and we get it. Then we are going to save. Let me try a third one. We bought it from Sapon, the 10, and description. Let's say it's battery. Some battery will be good. And then you bought it from Kumasi again. Residency is still resident, and we let's put in the same 10,000. Okay, great. So in this case, let's say this one, it was goose. Okay, all right. So once it's goose, the system gives us the appropriate rate. All right, and the VAT status, we say that it is VAT exclusive. Okay, let me see whether it's VAT rate inclusive. Okay, right. So VAT exclusive, it means that the amount, the 10,000 we paid, it didn't have any VAT element in it. So we are going to gross up the same 10,000. This is easy for you. So it doesn't do any further calculation. It just determines that VAT exclusive is we are going to gross up the same 10,000. Okay, all right. So let me also save it over here. That's fine. Okay, so this is how we populate our gross up. This is a individual. So if I enter, I can do my fourth one. Let me do my fourth one from the total. Okay, fourth one, and then the total thing is this, and it is service. Let me see. I got it from Kumasi. Okay, so resident, and then okay, let me just pick this way. Resident amount is still 10,000, and this time round we say that it's service. Okay, let me just go over here. It's an endorsement fee. Okay, so we're saying that the amount is what? Standard VAT inclusive. Okay, assuming we selected tourism endorsement fee. Okay, assuming we selected from a tourism, it means we are going to have this calculation as well. All right, that is fine. So this is how much the withholding VAT amount, that is 904. If we selected the service, okay, okay, it changes the withholding rate and it gives me the appropriate calculation as well. Okay, so assuming, let me go in, and then we selected, let me say it is works. So works. Okay, let me go in and select its works. So it selects the appropriate withholding rate and gives me the calculation as well. I will go back and say that this one, it was from a this is from a non-resident entity. So when it says from non-resident, still 10,000 withholding type, and is non-resident, we say that it is service. Okay, it is service. All right, so, and since from non-resident entity, there's definitely going to be a VAT exclusive amount. They can't charge us VAT, so it's going to be VAT exclusive amount, definitely. So, and it does the calculation, and we have it over here. So this is how it is to do select gross up. This is how it is to have our gross up. This is for the individual. We will do the bulk upload as well, and we see how it's going to behave. So we're going to have this over here and save nicely. So we have saved this as well, and we can go back and check our. So this is what we have over here. All that we entered is down here. The 4 transactions that we did for gross up, they are all here. I can go in and see if I can generate report. I can generate reports and see what I have entered before we go ahead and do filing of our returns and co. So I see this what I have entered. I can look at it, the supplier's location, residency, and it look as a VAT exclusive amount. It does a calculation of it select the withholding tax rate and does a calculation of the withholding tax for me. So this is what I have over here. I can print this. I can download this one to Excel or PDF in any other format. I'll do it and then keep it for my records. Okay. So basically, this is how to do to upload or populate our gross up information. So we will do a bulk one for gross up as well. This time we've tried to think through what you are likely to go through and done it in a way that will help you achieve your purposes. So please, if you have any challenge, can you contact us and we will be able to assist you. Thank you.